Hi and welcome to Street Talk, your voice and your views on the issues in the news. Russia's tough post-Soviet president Boris Yeltsin has died at the age of 76. The man who helped with the fall of the Iron Curtain had heart failure and leaves behind a mixed legacy. Now, many remember the 1991 image of Yeltsin standing on a tank as he faced down a coup of communist hardliners to fight for democracy in Russia. But he was also blamed for economic problems facing the country. Yeltsin's eccentricities were often attributed to heavy drinking and depression. In one instance in 1994, while in Germany to commemorate the withdrawal of the Red Army from eastern Germany, Yeltsin grabbed the music conductor's baton and actually began directing the band. German officials did admit he'd been drinking all day. Your views on how Boris Yeltsin will be remembered were rather on the downside. For example, Leonard in Germany doesn't think he'll fare well in the public memory. Yeltsin is the main reason Putin has been able to consolidate his regime. He was a drunkard who let his nation be sold out because he didn't care. I believe Russians will remember him as such. Putin is bad with the social cutbacks and all, but still better than Yeltsin. Joan in the US state of Virginia shares Leonard's sentiments. Even though Yeltsin did help in the switchover from communism to semi-democracy, his legacy is much less than that of Gorbachev. He will be more remembered as a crude buffoon who strong-armed his parliament and faded into obscurity. Felix in Sweden didn't feel much like paying his respects. I feel like celebrating rather than mourning his passing. His reign turned out to be a nightmare for us, but then I remembered that Putin is still there cracking the whip. Now on to some other interesting activities. If you've ever wondered about your spouse's fidelity, then you can join the ranks of those 49% of divorcing Britons who've hired a private investigator to look into their partner's whereabouts. This is a huge jump from 2005, when only 18% of the British population took this route. Of those who did the hiring, 30% were women, while 19% were men, according to the survey taken by Grant Thornton's Forensic and Investigation Services. The numbers make sense, seeing as the survey found that 69% of adultery was carried out by husbands. A representative of the investigation services explained that for the fourth year in a row, extramarital affairs are the main reason for the breakdown of marriages in the United Kingdom. Adolfo in Sweden doesn't see the merits in hiring a private detective. Investigating your own spouse is plain stupidity. When someone else is necessary to assess fidelity, it's because confidence is already lost. And lost confidence is much worse than having an affair with another person. Honey in the US thinks mental health is more important. I'm sure we are all intelligent enough to know if our spouse is cheating, and if he or she is, then walk away, since your sanity is worth more than the cheater. Jack in London would go to great lengths to find out if his wife was cheating on him. I wouldn't just hire a private investigator, I would follow her myself. The sanctity of marriage has to be upheld. Anyone who cheats should be humiliated for their actions. Now, there's no need to put on your red and blue cardboard 3D glasses to see the sun. NASA has captured the images for us. The first three-dimensional images of the sun have just been taken by spacecraft orbiting the Earth. The twin Solar Terrestrial Relations Observatory, or STEREO satellites, took the pictures in order to help scientists better predict when solar storms will hit. And these storms manage to disrupt satellites and communication and power grids, not to mention endangering the lives of astronauts in space because of the high levels of radiation that are emitted. Well, now a lot of cars have satellite GPS systems to help them get where they need to go, but many still use websites such as Yahoo Maps and MapQuest to provide directions. Well, Google Maps has taken it a step further. They've provided transatlantic directions. Let me take you through the steps. First, go to Google Maps website and type New York to London in the Search Maps field. The directions appear pretty normal at first. Head southeast on Chambers Street towards Broadway, merge onto I-84 east, merge onto Atlantic Avenue. Then we get to step 24. Swim across the Atlantic Ocean, 3,462 miles. It's going to be a bit tricky. But then it picks up again across the pond, turn right at EO5 and so on. It seems that someone at Google is either an excellent swimmer or has a particularly wacky sense of humor. I think I'll stick to aeroplanes if that's okay. That's it until next time. Do keep sending in your questions and comments and pointers to anything interesting or amusing for Street Talk. Remember, what you see here isn't necessarily the view of Al Jazeera, and some of the content's been edited but for time and space reasons only. And that's the talk on the street.